I'm Glenn McGinnis, and this is Outburst. On the program, do the federal government's anti-smoking measures go far enough?
Yeah, I would say so. I think the government can only do so much.
I think so.
There's some fine-tuning that needs to be done.
I don't think that it's worth the effort anymore.
But first, as this so-called affordability crisis continues to affect many Canadians, forecasters are predicting that 2024 will be a much better year economically for Canada. They're also predicting that interest rates could drop to the 3% target by 2025. Consumer spending has also increased ever so slightly. So, do you think the majority of Canadians sense that things may be getting a little bit better? We took this question to the streets. Do you feel the economy is starting to improve?
I mean, I don't know much about the economy as a whole, but I know prices are pretty expensive right now, like groceries, and wages don't seem to be keeping up, so I don't know if I would say the economy is getting any better.
I think it is. I think, we just have to be patient. It's a world thing. It's not the Prime Minister's fault, really.
What makes you say that it is improving? What do you see?
Possibly interest rates going down in the next 6 months, partly. The inflation rate is down a little bit. Those sorts of signs.
I think there's a bit more optimism as far as business goes. Like I work for a company, and we're relatively optimistic about the next couple of years. So it's a different vibe than what we've experienced during the pandemic, for example. So it's better, but it's not as good as it has been in the past.
I feel like we're moving in an interesting direction right now because the cost of certain things and fuel and all that is going down. However, the prices continue to rise, which is something I'm considering with the economy these days.
From my experiences, not really. I feel like everyone's still always struggling, and basic necessities aren't always being met.
Not really. I would say the people that have the money are continuing to make money, and the people like middle class, everything's going up. Groceries are unaffordable, and there's no wage increase, and yet the price increase is showing in the grocery stores in all of the products, and yet there's no increase in the wages. So no, I don't. I think it's improving for the rich, but I don't think it's improving for the middle class or the poor.
I don't think the economy is improving very much. I guess it's kind of hard compared to like America, seeing how we're doing. I feel like we're really falling behind, and I feel like we're really, really not doing the best at the moment.
No, I don't see it improving at all. I'm still having a hard time. I'm still having a hard time myself, even keep up. Even if I had a good job, it wouldn't be enough. Like, I have to pay a lot of bills and outstanding debts.
I think the economy is maybe, it seems like they're doing okay, and we're all still spending money, obviously. So, improve, I don't know if it's improving. I would say eventually it's going to hurt because we're all going to stop spending, because we're going to have to realize that groceries and bills are more important than clothes and stuff like that. So, which I understand is all the economy, but so not really sure if it's going to improve or not. I'd be skeptical.
I feel like the economy is starting to improve a little bit. In some ways, I feel like there is ways that it definitely needs to drastically improve. But I feel like we're starting to make our way there slowly. But yeah, there's definitely a long way to go.
I think so, yeah. I've seen a lot of growth recently a lot of new shops and stuff like that coming up. So it's better than it was 2 years ago, for sure.
You definitely see improvement from the beginning of the pandemic.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. It's so much closed down since then, and restaurants and everything else. It's much better now, yeah, for sure.
No.
No, why?
I don't think I've seen any tangible effects that would say it's improved yet.
Okay, Madam.
Yeah, I would echo that. I mean, in my day-to-day, it's I've not seen a lot of first-hand improvements, but I think There's a glimmer of hope. We might have a bit of an upswing. We'll see. I don't know.
It's hard to say. The inflationary pressures are still there. Long term, it's hard to say.
I hope so, and it's hard to say, like people predicting 50-50 or recession or growth, and it's I don't know.
It's hard to say. It's really complicated. I would say that inflation is down, but the problem is the price level is still really high from all the inflation we've had. So it's still hurting for people.
Is the economy starting to improve?
I'd say no. I think certain periods like they can pick on, gas has dropped, so the economy is improving, but food has not come down. So I just think you can't cherry pick on one. It's the whole economy, not just single items.
I believe it's improved over the year. I have my doubts about it improving in the new year. We'll see, I guess, but I'm hopeful for the new year too.
I don't think it's starting to improve. I think we're feeling the impact of a global recession. Central bank is taking the right measures to control inflation, which I think we should avoid high inflation. But I think we're not recovering yet.
No, but that just might be because a lot of Canadians are not able to improve their own personal economy within their households. Minimum wage is too low, groceries are ridiculously expensive, so I wouldn't even know how the global or Canadian economy is doing because a lot of us are just too focused on surviving.
Canada's anti-smoking initiatives have come a long way over the last 30 years or so. The price of cigarettes, both per package and per carton, has risen exponentially. Warnings on cigarette packages now upstage the branding. The ads have long since been pulled, and recently Canada became the first country to print warnings on individual cigarettes. But despite these measures, Stats Canada says 12% of Canadians continue to smoke, and vaping is a problem amongst young people. Some countries, namely New Zealand and the UK, are looking to raise the legal age of tobacco consumption or even ban it outright. So, should this country do more? Our question. Do the federal government's anti-smoking measures go far enough?
I don't think that it's worth the effort anymore, because I feel as though if you target audience that you're trying to reach is youth, they're more interested in vaping at this point, and I'm not entirely certain what the measures are related to vaping versus actual traditional cigarette smoking.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at the target demographic of youth, like they're not really paying attention to what the federal government does or says or implements. So I think we need to look for some alternate ways of getting that messaging out there.
I think they go far enough. If people weren't sure about the dangers of smoking before, I mean, they should be by now. So putting more labels, I don't think would make a difference.
I hate smoking. Can't stand it. Walking down streets here like now, you feel people blowing smoke in your face. It's terrible. So whatever they can do to prevent that is great. I don't know if they're doing enough right now, but I also don't know what the right answer is because it's a tough thing to get into. It's an addictive product. So
I'm not a smoker, and I mean, what I'm looking at is, does it really make a difference, or are they just adding costs and frustrating people? If people are going to smoke, I think they're going to smoke.
Okay, and you, sir?
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with the measures, but also not a smoker, and I think anything that they can reasonably cost effectively do to prevent smoking, we should do it.
Yeah, I would say so. I think the government can only do so much when it comes to smoking. I think all we can really do is educate people on the risks and make sure that everybody knows what they're getting into, which I think at this point in 2023, most people know it's going to kill you or harm your lungs. So I actually think it would be more important to work towards people knowing the dangers of vaping.
They don't. I think they're taking the right measures. They're starting. The more money they spend in educating people about the effects of smoking, I think it'll be better, and the government will save more money in healthcare.
I think they've made quite a lot of progress, okay, in that area. I think there's some fine-tuning that needs to be done with respect to areas where people shouldn't smoke. I know in France right now they passed a bill where you can't smoke in public parks and you can't smoke in the woods, which sounds like a good plan to me.
I feel like they're currently not especially as vaping is becoming more of an issue. It's too easy for kids to get access to it. All you need is somebody 18, 19, depending on the province, to just pick that up, and then kids are easily getting it if they have an older sibling. So I think we should almost be following what the UK is doing and start to prevent people from being able to buy cigarettes and tobacco at a certain point.
No, it scares me. There's lots of teens like vaping in schools, hiding in the bathroom. It smells good, so they it smells like watermelon or tastes good. So that terrifies me, and I don't know how we stop it and stop kids from getting access to it. So no, I would say not doing a great job on the anti-smoking regulations or tactics.
I think so. I think there could maybe be more done to have people avoid like vaping, but I think in terms of like smoking cigarettes, I think so.
Oh yes.
Why do you say that?
Well, I'm maybe an ex-smoker, so yeah, I don't think they need any regulations.
I think they should probably look a bit more at the vaping stuff. But as far as cigarette, I don't smoke, so I'm sure it's where it should be. I don't know.
As someone who was a smoker and is no longer a smoker, I think I would have appreciated not being able to have as much access to it as someone who is younger. However, I think that there should be certain measures done to grandfather people in who are still in that transition phase, or these young smokers who are now no longer able to smoke. I think there needs to be some compassion there, as well as some enforcement so that younger people can't get at it as well.
I would have to say that probably they do. Like, you hardly see any place inside you can smoke. The vaping is around, but it's not bothering anybody. And just other than just outside of buildings and things like that, where they're supposed to be how many feet from the building, although that's not government, that's just whoever is supposed to be implementing those. But as far as the smoking laws, yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah.
The problem is they're always very difficult to know that they're having an effect. It's all very well saying don't sell this to people under whatever age, but if their friend buys them and shares them, vaping or cigarettes, it doesn't matter. It's going to go on. So it will make a bit of a difference. I'm sure, but not as much as I think we'd like.
Which former Canadian Prime Minister holds the distinction of being an MP for the longest period of time? Is it Sir Wilfrid Laurier, John Diefenbaker, or Pierre Trudeau?
Ooh, I'm going to say Diefenbaker. I'm just guessing that one.
I think it's Diefenbaker.
Trudeau.
Diefenbaker.
Laurier.
Oh, maybe Trudeau.
I'm going to go with Diefenbaker.
I'm going to go with Laurier.
I think it's Trudeau. But I wasn't around for Laurier or Diefenbaker nor Trudeau, so I'm not really sure. I think it's Trudeau.
I'm going Laurier.
Sure, we'll go Laurier.
Absolutely correct.
Woohoo! We did it!
Yeah.
The Right Honourable Sir Wilfrid Laurier holds the distinction of being a Canadian Member of Parliament for the longest period of time, 44 years and 11 months, from January 22nd, 1874, until his death on February 17th, 1919. Also, his record as the longest-serving leader of a Canadian political party, 31 years and 8 months, still stands to this day. But he's not done there. Laurier also became Canada's first Francophone Prime Minister, and his 15-year tenure remains the longest unbroken term among those who have held the office.
One thing that many of us could possibly agree on is that opinion polls are an important tool in taking the political temperature across the country. They can tell us who's winning and by how much. For some of us, it may sway our vote towards the party that is said to be in the lead, and for other people's, it may not play a part in their decision-making whatsoever. So, how does it affect you? Our question. Do opinion polls help to influence what party you will vote for?
Absolutely, because down the road, you know, if we all kind of voice our opinions on who is going to run our country, then that will determine on, you know, the future of our country too. So I believe in that for sure.
Yeah, of course. Everyone has a say, and the more people that voice their opinions is going to educate us, right? So, yeah, for sure.
Yes, because I think like all successful things, communication is big, and I feel like we need just a giant group chat to figure out what we're going to do with this country as a collective rather than trying to figure it out on our own.
I think so. Opinion polls, because you're getting other people's opinion, and maybe you need like different perspectives on different parties. Maybe you're unsure about who to vote for.
I think so, yes, very much.
Why is that?
Well, because you sit around a group of people and they're talking and they kind of have their own opinion, and you hear that point of view and you kind of agree with that. Not always, but that's the main source of information, I would say.
Yeah. When I vote on what's important to me and not how I think everybody else is going to vote.
Not particularly, because it's more of a policy thing and just general, my own beliefs. If somebody says, well, all these people feel this way, it's not necessarily going to influence my belief. I'd prefer to just be like, well, I'm going to read the news and see the actual speaking points and do my own research, and from there, I'll make an educated decision on who I'm going to vote for, which policies I support.
They do not. I do my own research to vote. Whether or not that's from news outlets or secondary research, primary research, I like to have a wide range for my voting and know what each party is actually doing and where their interests lie.
I think so, yeah, because it gives a better. If I'm like on the fence about something, it could give me a better idea of what the majority might think, and then be able to think. Have a better opinion of where they stand.
I don't think so, no. I think for the most part I know who I support and like which parties align with my values.
No, I really don't consider them as far as what I'd vote, who I'd vote for, and that kind of thing. It's more or less just the person, the politician, and their policies.
No. I'm sometimes surprised by them, but it just gives me a kind of impression of how what the views are, and the stronger views and weaker views across the country. But I don't think they'd influence me.
Somebody else's opinion isn't going to change mine, and so I guess maybe people look at them and say, oh, okay, this guy's like. People like this guy, maybe that would help them look into him or her more. But I don't really think it matters. Yeah, to be honest.
I don't think so. I think people they already know who their party is. They're already decided. So the opinion polls, not really. I don't think that it makes much of a difference. Yes, I don't think that it makes much of a difference. The opinion polls. Because who are they asking? Is it all down east? Where is the opinions coming from? Because most of the time the West is forgotten. Everything stops after Ontario, and we don't count any for the opinions anyways, because those decisions are already decided in Ontario before an election even ends.
No. Well, I have my own opinion, and I stick to that.
Polls don't sway you at all?
No. It's kind of give me a picture what is happening, how Canadians feel alike, but not change my opinion.
No.
Why?
Because it's an opinion, but it's not my opinion necessarily. So I think they're useful for parties to understand when it might be beneficial to call an election, but I don't think it would influence who I'm voting for.
That's the exact same answer I would give.
No, they do not. I vote based on the policy priorities, and that's it.
Okay. Why that? Tell me why.
Because it's the policies that make the difference. It's not the polls that implement change. It's the decisions of politicians.
No, not opinion polls. It's the policies.
Just the
Just the policies, yeah.
Same thing. I like to listen to, see the results of the polls, but that's not what makes my decision.
As we end 2023 and begin a new year, parliamentarians will be back here in Ottawa looking to do their good work on behalf of Canadians. Unfortunately, times have been tough lately with not much relief in sight. We sent our cameras out to ask Canadians what they think parliamentarians should focus on in 2024. Our question: what would you like to see Parliament accomplish in the new year?
For me, it's more, we got a lot of inflation, so I'll see like maybe a decrease to have affordable housing. It's really important as Canadian. You see that growing, and people are struggling here, so we need more affordable housing.
Pass the pharma medical bill that they've been trying to pass for I don't know how long. The Liberals and the NDP can't get together on what format it should be in. I think that would be a really good thing for Canada. Free Medicare.
More affordable housing for young people that can't afford or can't even rent today.
I would like to see them accomplish anything that helps Canada's poor folks, Canada's low-income folks, which is most of us, I think, right now. I would love to see a move towards UBI, Universal Basic Income, or something like that. Better health care for especially people over 25.
I think inflation rate and housing, especially with immigrants that are coming in our country, we should put like regulation in place to accommodate these people, to make sure that we receive them and we can use them, not use them, but like make them a resource that can be useful for our economy. And also inflation rate is pretty high right now, so we should decrease it a bit to help people like get out of the struggle that they're in.
I would say tougher on crime. I would like to see Parliament start to get down to the base of the issue of crime. Yes.
I think environmental initiatives are pretty important to me. So doing more to tackle climate change, get to our goal of like net zero in the next couple of years, or the next 30 years or whatever.
Get control of the spending and interest rates, and to start building the economy a bit more, incentives for business to operate and hire people at good wages, that kind of thing.
Certain things with the reconciliation with Indigenous peoples.
I would like to see some change with the carbon tax and then grocery prices as well. I think that a lot of people are already struggling, so it's just becoming so much of an issue that I'm hoping that they start to hear that we need some kind of change, even if that means increased taxation, just whatever may be to help remedy that.
Well, I would like to see a reduction in taxes, that's for sure. I feel like we were paying way, way too much money in taxes. Yeah, I'd like to see more support for the immigrant program. And another thing I'd like to see is with prior training, where people are coming from, say, India and they're doctors, that they should be able to practice here with a very sort of a rudimentary examination.
It's a tough one. I would say I would like to see affordability for everybody. Times are tough, prices are rising, and there's lots of taxes on things, and it's just making it really hard to have a growing family in today's society. And just really looking for some help, some solutions. We can't, necessarily make more money, but we have to spend more money, and it's a really hard line in the sand and what to do.
I'd like to see just, more affordable living. I think, they've done a good job amidst the pandemic, but I would just like to see, cost of living come down. I know that Saskatchewan is good per capita, in the country, but I think for us younger people that are trying to start out, and, it would be nice to see some more affordable living and, more introduction into schools on budgeting and just kind of learning those things. But
I would like to see Parliament address the housing crisis. For people my age, it's become increasingly unaffordable. So I would like I would like to see some progress on that.
I'd like to see them do something on cost of living and inflation.
Okay. Why is that important to you?
Well, I think it affects everybody on the street. You're hitting them right in the pocketbook. There's their style of living, their cost of living, their ability to live. And when people are making choices between doing one thing and the other, I think that's got to take priority over several other issues.
And what would you like to see Parliament accomplish in the new year?
Two things. The first is they have some legislation right now for the HST to be removed from mental health services, psychotherapy. I'd like them to get that legislation through so people can make it more affordable for people. And the second thing is the medical system is just broken. It needs more funding.
Yeah, affordability would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, making things a bit easier.
Address some challenges on foreign interference.
Interesting. Like, could you be more specific? Like, what would you like to see?
It'd be great if the inquiry could go forward in a way that it could be productive. And if Parliament would allow that to happen, that would be great.
I think they could do more for mental health, especially in Ottawa, that's for sure.
Why is that important to you?
Because I see too many people on the streets suffering and it's not necessary.
First of all, housing. First of all.
And why is that important to you?
It's important for a lot of people. That you're not able to pay, that you cannot buy food because your house is too expensive. Imagine that. No, it's a very important thing to me.
Oh, it's a complicated question. I don't know. Well, I think economy. They have to fix the economy. They have to fix medicine. So healthcare. Yeah, this is what I expected from them in this year.
Thanks for watching this episode of Outburst on CPAC. If you have any comments about this show or any other show, you can find us on social media. You can also find us on our website at www.cpac.ca. I'm Glenn McGuinness, and on behalf of my colleagues at the Cable Public Affairs Channel, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.